Hey you, it's Jess here, and this video is planning for the week of January 30th through the 5th of February. I do put February up in the corner because we're now in the February section of my Caress Press inserts, and the first is on the first half of the week, so that's how I like to do what month goes in the corner. But I'm using this Scribble Prints Co kit called Frosty, which is sort of my winter / Valentine's art. Or at least you can make it like a romantic winter set. So I decided to put it into Feb because it's still winter here and it's also kind of romantic, and I have a sparkly hollow foil. Actually, it's a sparkly hollow and silver mixed metal shimmer bundle from Scribble Prints Co. And I just brought in a touch of other things, including the sparkly sort of hollow winter scene bottom washi from Planet Choco and some snowflakes from Sadie Stickers. And those were just some hole reinforcers that I had left over from a Caress Press bundle, so it's good to get to use those. Now when I do the overlay for the bottom washi, I completely spaced on that I was going to use the winter scene bottom washi. I just used both from the bundle, as you can see here. I was like, oh dang it. So I just put the winter scene bottom washi over the top of that shimmer bundle confetti. And I think it actually turned out really pretty. Just made it extra sparkly, I suppose. But yeah, so this week, I was like, I'm glad this is my last snow week because this week, like, all the snow melted. It's been pretty warm here, actually. Under 10 degrees Celsius, but over 0 degrees Celsius. If you don't know, snow is really like, you need to be 0 and under, like in the negatives for snow, so in Celsius. So, yeah, it all melted except like, the really big piles of it that they plow up. But pretty much all melted this week. And so it's like, well, I'm glad it's my last. And then you'll see it the next week after this one. Apologies, it's first thing in the morning. It snowed. It snowed on the weekend, the week after this, but now it's the week after and it's all melted again. So yeah, we're having a mild winter this year, I guess. I hope that doesn't translate into a super hot summer, but we will see. So here I just put in the toolbox and I'm going to cut the blonde one out as well. I didn't really line her up very well. I thought I did in the corner, but I guess I messed it up somehow, because you know how I cut it out with the corner intact? I was like, I'll line it up with the outside of the corner, but it didn't actually perfectly work. So you'll see that close up when we're planning, but it doesn't really mind. It doesn't really like annoy me, to be honest, because you can't really tell from far away that she doesn't line up. And now I'm just trying to pick all my favorite boxes, and look, I've got so many full boxes left. There were so many for this kit, but I did want to use the people boxes, and then yeah, so I just picked my favorites out of what I could fit in. Yeah, so this week, the first half of the week, I filmed that studio vlog that went up on my channel. The first 3 days, Monday through Wednesday. And I got the Easter set all done, which was great. So I do actually miss out on a few stickers in this spread because I'm waiting for the vlogging scribblers to come in the mail before I put them in for my filming. I didn't do it on Tuesday because I thought it was a bit repetitive, and Tuesday had other things to put in, so just Monday, Wednesday I marked that I was vlogging. So I just have the script filmed there, and then I'm going to put the stickers in later. Yeah. That's just what you gotta do when you're international, But I always find like it's useful to put in a script or write in ahead of time. Otherwise, in my experience, you will completely forget what that sticker was supposed to be when you go to put it in later if you remember. So I made sure to put in the script anyway. So we're just finishing up the base here. I'm just going to use a silver February because, as I said at the beginning, Wednesday was the 1st, so I decided to put February in as a month. And then just getting the deco across the top. And then we'll get started on the day by day in a second. The book I was reading this week was The Stone Sky, which was the third book in the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. I don't know when I'm going to be doing my book talk, so I'm just going to talk about the book a little bit now. Basically, if you're interested in, well, first of all, N.K. Jemisin is a black woman, so it was nice to read a fantasy from that perspective, and I think it really comes across in her characters. There's something different in the fantasy world, so I always appreciate that. And the main character is a middle-aged woman who has had kids. Basically, you start, and it's like a fantasy world where it's like an alternate Earth where there are constant earthquakes and volcanoes and tsunamis and things. And but there are people who are born with the ability to be able to do magic with the Earth. So but people are afraid of them. They call them a slur, basically, and they're pretty much outcast, and then they get trained and used as tools, but not really seen as human, but they're used to control earthquakes and things like that. And so we find out that our main character, Esun, is one of those people. They call themselves Origins. I won't use the slur word for them, because, that's what it is in the book. But the Origins, and she comes home. She's kind of like she's pretending she's not an Origin in a town, and she comes home and finds that her young son has been killed by her husband because he's found out her son is also an Origin. So is her daughter, and her husband has left with the daughter, and she is kind of left to pick up the pieces and of this tragedy of her son. And then she decides to go out and find her daughter and get revenge on her husband. And then whole other stuff happens, like, in this whole world. Basically, every now and then something so bad happens, a season, they call it a 5th season, happens. And basically you have to stay inside your communities and wait out this really bad patch of weather and survive. So 5th season is just happening as this tragedy has happened to her son. So you have all that in play too, and then you have the magic stuff, and then you have a whole bunch of other characters as point of view. It's really good. But The Stone Sky is the last one, and I would say it was a really, really good ending. It really stuck with me. Like, I've thought about it for a while now, and especially about Esun, who you have through all 3 books. You don't have all the point of views, all books, but and there's a lot of stuff that you don't know about this world as you read about it, but once you get into the 3rd book, she really explains and unravels the past for you and why this world is broken. And it was really fascinating. But yeah, the ending, like, I totally had a few tears. I cried a bit. It was really beautiful. So I highly recommend that trilogy, especially if you're interested in sort of an intersect between fantasy and dystopia, because it is really a dystopian post-apocalyptic kind of world. And she's a very straightforward way of writing, like in terms of who the characters are. I don't know, I really like them. I know I've read some reviews where they don't like Esun, but I love Esun. She's kind of practical and sassy. Well, sassy in a serious way, I know. I like Esun. I understand Esun. So I guess some people like women rich in that way, but I do. So I thought it was really good, and especially if you're looking for older characters and more mature themes, such as children, being a mother, I think ultimately, and I'll finish up here in a second to start going the day by day. I'm just filming vlogs and working in these videos, in these days, sorry. But ultimately, I think the main thing was it's about the nature of motherhood, about your kids growing up or not growing up, about grief, about letting your kids go kind of thing. And I thought that was really interesting. Just with the way it ends, you really see that with Esun's choices with her daughter. So yeah, I thought it was a really good book. But then you also have like the big world-changing magic stuff on top of it. And it's a really cool magic system. I think it's really neat how they can they pull energy from the earth in order to control the earth. And they can also create ice. And basically they're kind of shunned and hated because it's kind of connected a lot to their emotion. So when they're young children, it's harder for them to control it. And they might accidentally kill people with it, which is why people hate them and get rid of them, or even get rid of them instead of sending them off to be taught how to use it. It's a harsh world for sure, but yeah, I think the message at the end is really good. And as it all comes together, as the narration, Esun's narration is first person, so it's always you did this and you did that, and where we are Esun through the whole story of her point of view, not for other people's points of views, but just Esun. And it kind of gets all tied up and explained in the third book of why that is first person, and it's really good, very satisfying, and I actually really enjoyed reading the book as a first person. And I will say I really recommend the audiobook. I thought the narrator was really good. Alright, I'll stop talking about the Broken Earth trilogy, and we'll talk about the day by day. The first 3 days, they were all in my studio vlog, so I don't think it's too new or too bad that I've skipped over parts. But Monday, did some laundry, worked, had McDonald's because it's Monday. We're always super lazy on a Monday. Just don't feel like cooking. Then Tuesday, I didn't film as much because there was construction going on in the shop down below, which, good news, it's all finished and open, and now our area has its own pharmacy, and it's so great. Love having a pharmacy local because we didn't have one in our neighborhood at all. But I will say our neighborhood is currently being built. So it's a newer neighborhood, so that makes sense. But it's nice to finally have a neighborhood pharmacy, rather than having to take a 5-minute tram to get to one. So I'm very excited to be able to pick up, which also say you can only, here in this country, you can only buy painkillers and stuff from a pharmacy. So if you need ibuprofen, you have to go to a pharmacy. So it's nice to have one right down below. But I won't miss that construction. It was loud and annoying. And I was just playing Animal Crossing and reading. And then Wednesday, did my voiceover for my Plan With Me. I was watching an Nintendo stream while working. And then we had McDonald's again, which I think it was McDonald's. So I just put fast food again script from Kirsten's sampler. So useful. And then Thursday here, I did my listings for my Easter set, and I released it, and I just used a little Easter egg from Once More with Love to mark that's what I released. And then, I don't know, I feel like I was so drained from vlogging, and I don't know what, I wasn't talking to anyone, actually, but it really, really drained my battery, so I just put in my feelings, because I was. And then we had our groceries delivered, which I just used the grocery shopping script from the bundle. Played some more Animal Crossing and read my book. Yeah. So I'm just finishing that up here. I decided to change it to a washi strip for the groceries because I feel like the washi strips, if you have a foil script, you should put it on those because it really makes them pop, as you can see with grocery shopping. And And I'm really enjoying using like these sort of themed book sheets from Papershire. This is her winter reading. I thought that was so cute and went perfectly with this spread. So then Friday, Plan With Me went live. I think that was my monthly Plan With Me. And then I played with stickers, as in I probably pulled all the stickers for the first half of the week and I was planning all this stuff. Yeah, I think I did these two during this day, and then I'm going to come back another day and finish up this spread in a second, which you'll probably see by the change of my sleeves, although, yeah, because I had to wash this jumper, but I'm loving this new jumper. I showed it in my studio vlog, but it has one pink sleeve and one purple sleeve, and I love it. It's so cute. So I'm just putting in what I've got for this day. So we got, I don't know, have I switched? Maybe I just did the weekend. I don't know. Maybe I just did the first half of the day. I can't remember how I filmed this anymore. Then I just put that I was tired AF. I was just like, yeah, drained for the first half of the week. I got that set all done and I was filming at the same time, and it was a lot. And we decided this day that we would try out a new Indian place because, I don't know, we just felt like trying a new one, and this one was called Gandhi. Well, we tried this one because one of their sides was onion bhaji, and that's one of our favorites for back in Adelaide, but there haven't been a lot of Indian places here that had onion bhaji. And this place, at first we were like, oh, I don't know, because they didn't give us the naan we were supposed to have, which was kind of annoying. But the onion bhaji, the samosas were so good. And then the curries, they weren't like the usual curries that we get here in Finland. They tasted way more like ones you get in Britain, which is a whole different, I feel like they're slightly different, but it was really tasty, and like they were hot but not like hot, I don't know, like it stayed on your mouth but then it didn't give you an upset stomach or anything. It was actually really good, so we might try Gandhi again. Oh, and then this is I guess it's an inside joke. I put bean pudding, but basically we were joking about oh god, I don't even know how we got to it now, but we suddenly got to this joke of like, imagine chocolate pudding, but there are actual like beans you would have in a can in it, like kidney beans just in the bean pudding. And we're like, surprise bean pudding, and it just has 4 kidney beans in there somewhere, and surprise. And we're just having this whole thing, and we were like crying, laughing, and so I wanted to put in there to remember bean pudding. It's like a product we made up, but yeah. And then I just read my book. Oh, and then I stayed up I didn't have to, but I stayed up late this night to buy a lot of wax. I bought a bunch from Fantasy Wax's Alice in Wonderland release. I really liked a lot of those, so I ended up buying 6 from that release. And then Teddy B's opened a pre-order, and it opened at 1 a.m. in my time, but she only opens for a few hours, so it wasn't going to be open when I got up. So I stayed up till 1 a.m. to do that. And then what else? I think I bought from someone else as well. Maybe it was Salt Mountain as well. And Teddy B's and Salt Mountain were my first time ordering from them, so I decided it'd be fun just to do an order for the first time. So I was up buying way too much wax. And then Saturday we were watching The Simpsons, and I had a super lazy day, so I just became a couch. We made doorstops in the air fryer, which I've described in previous Plan With Me's. And then we had our movie of the week, and our prompt from the movie challenge was a title with 5 or more words in it. So we chose Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels because I'd never seen it before. It's a Guy Ritchie film, and I actually really enjoyed it. I was worried it was going to be like super violent, but it wasn't. Like, it was violent, but he always turned the camera away or had it slightly off camera and sort of just showed the aftermath, which wasn't too gory, so I was surprised by that, and I thought it was really funny as well. And I was like worried for these characters, but it kind of just, it's like one of those films where they kind of go through life and everything is a chaos around them, but it works out for them. That kind of film. So I highly recommend Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. And funnily enough, this week they added it to Prime, and we had to get it other ways. But then, of course, like 2 weeks after we watch it, they add it to a streaming service. That's annoying, but highly recommend that film. And then I finished The Stone Sky that night. And then I had a little break from reading for a little bit. Sometimes I have a break because I'm letting the book soak in, right? Then Sunday we watched The Simpsons again. I washed clothes. I vacuumed. I was doing a whole lot of cleaning because the coming week there were 2 days where maintenance may possibly pop in to check our smoke detectors. It was set for Wednesday and Thursday, and he did come on Thursday in the end. But I wanted to do some pre-cleaning. So I did a bunch of vacuuming. And then I just did a YouTube binge, caught up on all the videos from the weekend. And then I put in cooked dinner and a katsu chicken bowl because we made katsu Japanese curry. So we covered chicken in panko and fried that up, and then we made a golden curry from using their blocks and carrots and stuff. And then we just put rice in the rice cooker, and it was a delicious meal. And we had leftovers to have it all again the next day. Awesome. And then this night, Locke and I started watching Friday Night Lights. So I watched Friday Night Lights 7 years ago when Locke was in Singapore for 3 months. It's one of the shows I binged, and they've just never watched it. And I've mentioned it so many times. So we finally are sitting down and watching Friday Night Lights. This is where we started. Yeah, I love Friday Night Lights. And I think Locke is enjoying it too, so that's been really great. And then that night I just sat down and I finished planning, had some planning time. But that is the full week, and I'll show you the spread in a second. I wrote Friday incorrectly, and I didn't realize until I edited this video. Very embarrassing. Oh well. But yeah, that was this week. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you have a wonderful week. I love how this spread came out. It's so pretty. I especially love the difference between the sparkly hollow and the silver. It's just really pops. I'm just showing you my leftovers. But yeah, otherwise, I hope you're going well and your February is going well, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you so much. I've already forgotten how I end videos. I love you. Bye. Bye-bye, friends. Bye.